Crystal, we've had a lot of adventurers who apparently have had, quote, situations in Ireland. You ready to just get to it?
I can't wait to hear about them.
Yeah, let's hear your stories about Ireland today, from Northern Ireland to the southern tip and the countryside to the cities. You'll hear great advice and some epic stories of fellow travelers Sheena, Roy, Nancy, and John.
Ooh, I am looking forward to that. Thanks, you guys, for sharing. And then at the end of this episode and every show, you'll hear our Gear of the Day pick. So if you're looking for best-in-class gear that's worth the price, head to our Amazon page. Price.
Worth the price.
It's worth the prize. That was a new word. Smize. I'm smizing. You go to our Amazon page. It's stackingadventures.com/GOTD. Or if you want to type it out because you're a fast typer or Gear of the Day, you'll help the show and help yourself adventure better and for less money.
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome to the Stacking Adventures podcast. This is where we head around the world with you, our adventurer community, to stack memories we'll remember forever. She's Crystal.
And I'm Joe.
Yes,
Joe.
She is all the above. Well, Happy New Year to you, Crystal.
Oh, yes. Happy New Year. I said I would have a different background for the new year. And look, I have this cute candle with a smiley face. So there's my professional looking background for the new year.
I love how your new background is, for everybody that's not watching in YouTube. It's the same, but with a new candle.
Yep. I love candles.
It's so different.
I love candles that smell like baked goods, too.
Oh,
so
don't.
Like, yeah. Brownies. Oh, yes.
I can't do it. I like the holiday scented candles, you know? Mm-hmm. No, the ones that smell like your Christmas tree. Yeah.
No. Oh no. Mm-mm.
Oh, well, you're
the
lost.
Cinnamon. I'll do the cinnamon smelling holiday one.
What is it about food?
I don't know. That is weird. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Well, we don't have time to dilly-dally talking
Okay.
about Crystal's food obsession, because we've got a lot of fantastic stuff from you today. These are always my favorite shows. Let's start off today. We're going to kick it off with adventure Sheena.
Oh, Sheena.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah.
You're going retro.
Oh, yeah.
Sheena.
She's probably never heard that before.
I'm sure. Yeah, right.
Ever.
I cut your sarcasm like 3 minutes. Yes, she has. I'm sure she has. All right, here we go. Sheena.
Hi, I'm Sheena, and I went to Ireland, and I thought I'd share my experience. I had some of the opposite experiences as Anne did. The trip was largely unplanned. I went only to Dublin, and we had almost no rain. I went with...
Wow.
I wonder when.
What a difference already. She stayed in the city. And the whole idea, could you go on a trip to a foreign country just unplanned? Just
yes.
Let's wing it. You could.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That was Switzerland. And my friend was like, do you want to go? I'm like, heck yeah. But we knew people, she knew people there. So they it was almost like a locally kind of like, all right, let's just go to all our favorite places and hit the tourist
That
spots.
helps. Well, and with their favorite places, they know when to go, what places not to go on what day. True. Like that is wild. Oh, I can't wait to hear this, Sheena. This is going to be
no rain. Yeah.
This is going to be wild.
My mom, who had been planning a trip, and I just tagged along last minute. I booked my tickets 2 weeks before the trip in August 2024. As a side note, I felt like I got a steal for $650 from the western side of the United States.
Wow.
That is a steal.
2 weeks before, Sheena.
That's scary. So I'd be scared to do that, but it worked out.
It totally worked out. Let's hear how.
I spent 4 days in Dublin with my mom, and then she went on a bus trip around Ireland, and I flew home. My mom booked a boat tour and a hop-on, hop-off bus, and she had a few places she wanted to go. We mostly used the bus to get around and saw the Book of Kells, St. Patrick's Cathedral, the National Gallery of Ireland, We did a whisky tasting and saw Kilmenheim Jail, which I'm sure there's probably someone out there that can pronounce better. Jill, please don't even try.
Good. Everyone knows you so well.
Why? Because I've messed up just about every word we've said on this entire podcast since we began, Sheena. Sheena even making fun of me here.
Well, this is a good place to pause, too, because she tagged along with her mom. That was kind of Greece, too, for me. I tagged along with someone else. So that's another good thing that you can keep in mind is, hey, if someone's going somewhere, just tag along.
So is it unplanned or is it unplanned by Sheena?
Well,
it's unplanned by Sheena.
Well, but it's still right. So then you have to figure out, okay, do I have time off? Can I make those dates work? Or just just like she did. So she just decided, okay, her mom's there for longer. I'm just going to leave, instead of doing the whole bus, the bus.
The bus, yeah.
Yeah. Then she's like, oh, I'll just leave before you do that part. So these are the days I can make the most out of the days she can make it.
Oh, you mean, no. She did the bus and then mom was doing a boat. I see what you're referring to.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. There was a bus and a boat. She did the bus, the hop on, hop off bus, but she didn't do the boat. The hop on, hop off bus, I see those in major cities. I saw them in Edinburgh and London,
Italy, everywhere.
Yeah, in Rome. Have you done the hop on, hop off buses?
Yes, I love it. Highly recommend it, especially so in Milan, I did it. And that gave me a really good look around the square because that's how I picked where I wanted to shop. That's how I picked where I wanted to eat too. So I rode that bus one whole complete loop and then I hopped off and on to see, all right. Oh, because there were some stops. If I would have gotten off at that first stop, I would have missed something that was like at the third that I really, really would rather have done. So I'm like loop around the whole thing, then hop on and hop off.
How is it that I can incredibly 100% like the fashionista in my life, Crystal Hammond, that you would go to Milan, like the center of fashion? Of course you would.
It was cheap stuff. And I'm so tall and big. They had stuff in my size too. Like I was really like astounded. And Hawaii was like that too. I don't know if it's because like Samoans are normally bigger too. Cause I'm like, every store has my size Sasquatch in shoes.
You are not.
It was
you might have big feet. I've never paid attention to that. I have no idea. Yeah. Anyway, enough about Crystal's feet. Sheena's like, can we get back to Ireland? Oh, I was going to say, Crystal, what I really like about the hop on, hop off bus, I think Cheryl planned this really well for us in London. Mm-hmm. When you make those trips to Europe, you are jet lagged, you're tired. And that's when she plans the hop on, hop off bus because you don't want to think. You want to kind of get the lay of the city. You want to get the feel of it. You want to see what all the touristy things are. I think especially for somebody who isn't adventurous as the couple that went to Peru and just did it all by themselves with their family. Like I'm not that adventurous. I love that story, but that is not me. For me to get comfortable a little bit, at least, with what's going on in the touristy parts of the city. And then later on, I venture out into the neighborhoods and see more of what's going on with the locals. I like the hop on, hop off bus for like day one.
And they have like the headphones, so you get to hear about the history of the different places too. And that also gives you a feel for, okay, I do want to hear more about the cathedral, or I don't, care about this and that. So
that's right. I could skip that.
That's like a good secret. Yeah. And even in DC, they have a cute hop on, hop off. I did it for the first time last year, and I've been here 18 years. They had one of those fancy, the high tea hop on bus. Well, it was a bus, like a bus tour with the hop off. So I got to know a lot of things about monuments while sipping tea and crumpets, having tea and crumpets, so that was another cute thing too. That, totally.
That sounds really different. Campy fun.
It was cute.
That sounds great. Back to Sheena.
We wandered in some parks and pubs and really had a great time together. I thought the food there was solid, we had good service, and it cost less than I expected. I learned that any museum that begins with National was free. For instance, the National Gallery of Ireland. I found the Irish to be friendly, and they have a well-earned pride in their storytelling ability and sense of humor, whether it was a tour guide or just observing people in the park.
My sister went to Ireland, and that, Sheena, was the first thing she said, was how funny so many and kind So many of the Irish people were.
Huh. I like people watching. Like that would really be a fun. I was going to say that turns me on, but that is really cool to just sit in the park or wherever and just people watch. Like and you can even make up stories about people, but yeah, people watching is because you get to see fashion. You get like, why did he wear that shirt with those shoes? But it's just really cute stuff to just observe people.
My favorite place to people watch is not Ireland, though. It's Las Vegas. I'm like,
Walk of Shames. It could
I'm
be
like,
6 p.m.
So you, and I generally, I mean, I'm not a snappy dresser, and I also don't shame people usually, but in Las Vegas, I'm like, you decided on that. That was your best look. You're like,
this was our outside clothes today.
Sheena, you'll find this. I think funny in that Irish sense of humor that you're talking about. I saw an Irish publication that had one of those cartoons, and it said, "Yes, American, we want to hear about which Irish people you're related to." Come into the pub and just tell the bartender immediately, I'm one of the McGonagals.
That is funny.
It could be Scottish. I didn't know that. McGonagals.
Who knows? It was funny too that Sheena said, the food was solid. Because when I think of the Ireland food, like, I think solid as in like heavy. Like, I know she meant solid, like, good food, but I think it's like you're going to have some hearty stews and like hearty, har.
And not as expensive as she thought in a major city like Dublin.
That too, the tourist place.
Yeah. I mean, I think I go to any major city, I think the food's going to be a little expensive, but that's good to hear too. Let's go back.
And the national part too.
Yeah. The national museums.
I wouldn't have thought about that.
Sheena, that is a solid tip.
Yeah.
There are wild fallow deer in the Phoenix Park, which are elusive. So one highlight was being able to spot them pretty close up. Another highlight was at the jail. We were in a big open area of the prison, and it was very echoey. And one of the tourists asked if she could sing a song, which kind of sounded weird. But she started singing with this beautiful voice, and it was a song about some of Ireland's history. It was just like the coolest experience listening to that song.
That is super cool. Sheena, when you started that story, I thought you were telling us you went to jail in Ireland. I'm like, do we want to hear this story?
I cannot even imagine. Like, I almost got chills just her saying that, like to hear the echoing and hear that the voice bellowing off the halls. That's cool.
What's been the resounding thing over and over and over? It's the people you meet.
Yeah.
I would have thought that's weird as hell too. A tourist going, "Hey, can I sing a song?" Listen, Johnny Cash.
Right. Well,
Keep it to yourself.
And it's spontaneous. Like, that's another cool thing about trips. Like, you never know what spontaneous, super, super cool thing's gonna happen.
We had, when we were at the Grand Canyon, we're down on the east end of the Grand Canyon, so we're getting the sunset crystal over the Grand Canyon. Just think about how serene and how amazing it is. And as the sun gets about halfway set and the canyon is just turning all these beautiful colors, these two women behind us start singing. And I'm like, what the F? Like, I am not happy because this is a beautiful moment. But then I counted to like 3, and it was the most beautiful song. And this woman, our friend Jenna, who was with us, she turned to them afterwards. She goes, "That was so beautiful. What was it?" They were from a local native tribe, and it was a blessing they were singing. And we were there for it. And it's funny, I get goosebumps now, but that was not my first reaction. I think it was more like, no.
Who moved my cheese? Yeah. Oh man.
So beautiful.
That's amazing.
Irish jail or the Grand Canyon, singing for the win from somebody. Back to Sheena.
And the tourists are cool in Ireland. There's a lot of interesting potato famine history there. And if I ever go back, I would definitely go to the epic Irish Immigration Museum.
Oh.
When I flew back, there was some sort of kerfluffle with my flight. I ended up being delayed overnight, and so I applied to get compensation through what's called EU 261. There are some sort of special rules about flights leaving the EU, and although I'm no expert, I've Googled the info and received a small compensation on a flight a few years back. I sent in the request this time and was actually able to get $650 back, which was the price I had originally paid.
So she flew for free.
Wow. But then the overnight kerfluffle, that sucked, but at least she got reimbursed for it.
Not knowing what's going on.
Wow. Well, that's good to know, adventurers. That is very good to know.
Just a little diligence.
So EU 261. So make sure you know you can apply for compensation. See?
That's great tip.
Very good to know, because that is something like that's almost not guaranteed to happen, but when it happens, you're like, oh, so at least now we know.
And that's serious money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like getting $20 back on your VAT, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, that's funny. I've never even attempted to the VAT.
I haven't either.
Okay. Well, hey, let's try. You guys, if there's anybody that's actually successfully done the VAT, we would love to hear about the tax. Like you get your tax back when you spend money overseas. That's what I know about it, but I don't know.
I take that back. We actually did do it once.
Oh.
Iceland made it really easy at the airport. You could literally, if you had receipts, you could take them at the airport and you would get cash right then. Iceland made it super easy.
Okay.
If I remember right, I didn't expect that.
Interesting.
Sheena, fantastic trip. Thank you so much for sharing. I love just the idea of tagging along.
Yep.
4 days, getting time off 2 weeks before. Like that's so cool.
Well, and it's cool too that you got reimbursed, because for me, when I come back from vacation, broke is a word. Besides sad that my vacations ended, broke is another adjective. So you actually came back, reimbursed. So that's another win. Score.
But what I like for you, though, Crystal, for people that didn't hear last Tuesday's episode or last episode of 2024 about budgeting, that you might come back with an empty wallet, but you don't have maxed out credit cards.
Right. No, absolutely not. Which is another cool thing, because I know a lot of people like, oh, just use your credit card because there's no transaction fees. But it's still like I like using cash too. But as long as you don't drop it, I dropped like $40 a couple weeks ago, and it broke my heart. I was like, okay, just think of it that you made someone's day, whoever found it. But man, I'm bad with cash.
There's a comedian I like named Emo Phillips, and he talks about walking through Central Park, and he finds somebody's wallet that's full of cash. And he said, if I lost a bunch of cash in my wallet, what would I want to have happen? And then my brain said, I'd want to be taught a lesson.
Oh my goodness.
Probably time to move on. We heard also from Roy. Hey, Roy.
Hello, adventurers. It's your friend Roy from across the pond here to regale you with my Northern Irish adventure.
Regale. He said regale. Yep.
We've had some great emails from both Sheena and Roy in the past, by the way, in the early days of these episodes. And Sheena and Roy, I look forward to hearing about more of your adventures.
Thank you.
They volunteered to come on. So, and Roy, we heard about Japan, if you remember. He gave us great stuff on Japan. Roy's been to quite a few of the places apparently that we've hit, but others as well. So, Roy,
thank you.
Roy, tell us about Ireland. Well, I know a secret about Roy that he's going to tell us. This is really cool. I shouldn't even foreshadow, but this is super cool what Roy's going to tell us.
I'm like, stop talking, Joe.
Yeah. It begins in 2015. I, along with my wife and 2 kids, were living in England at the time, near Oxford, due to my service in the Air Force, when we decided to take a vacation to Northern Ireland over Halloween week. We made the short 1-hour flight from London to Belfast in the morning, picked up our rental car, and began our drive along the coastal route north to the north coast. We loved driving the coastal route and saw some beautiful scenery. After stopping for a traditional Irish breakfast, which consists of bacon, sausage, beans, grilled tomatoes, beans, soda bread, and eggs, we made our way to our Airbnb.
Do you think he said beans twice on purpose?
I mean, but see that this goes back to Sheena's solid food, because that's like heavy.
That
heavy,
sounds
heavy. You're gonna need to walk that off.
I thought, Roy, you were going to say bacon, beans, sausage, beans. What else did you say?
Beans.
Yes. Yeah. Roasted tomatoes, beans.
Yeah. So spoon bread, beans.
For anybody that wants to get a feel for Northern Ireland, by the way, there's a fantastic show on Netflix, hilarious show called Dairy Girls. Dairy Girls.
Dairy, like the cow?
Derry, which is the area that they live in.
Got it. Okay.
And they go to a Catholic school. These girls, they're high schoolers in the 1990s. High schoolers in the 1990s.
That's me.
In Ireland. There's one of their hilarious episodes. They meet Bill Clinton. Well, Bill Clinton comes to Northern Ireland and they see him and they wave. Anyway, I could not, Roy, even understand this show at first. And I was like, I don't get it. And then a friend of ours, a guy named Rick, told us to watch it with subtitles so you can understand what the hell they're actually saying. And then Crystal, so I'd tell everybody, watch Dairy Girls with subtitles.
Watch everything with subtitles.
But I went back to the beginning with subtitles, and the show's hilarious. Crystal, you'd love it. You'll laugh your head off. The stuff that happens in these families, it's so funny. But anyway, back to Roy and Northern Ireland and beans and travel and beans and food and beans.
We stayed in a nice coastal town called Castle Rock that had a great little charm. Over the week, we visited sites such as Giant's Causeway, some of the nicest beaches in the world, climbed up and down the sand dunes at White Rocks Beach, ate some great food at the Ramore restaurant, visited Port Rush and Port Stewart, took the train into Belfast, and went to the Titanic Museum.
Was the Titanic Museum the same one that Anne went to the Louisiana Museum, which was on the southern coast, and really liked. Remember, she and her traveling companion went to the Louisiana Museum. So we've got on the southern Ireland, but in Northern Ireland, just a country away, we've got Titanic Museum.
Titanic. And they took the train too. That's cool.
I would think that
I like the trains and stuff, even though they rented a car too.
Just Irish people and sunken ships. I'm still stuck on that, Crystal.
But it's cool.
You think Ireland, you think very happy, and you also think very sad, right? And going to a museum about sunken ship. I did that. Did you do in Chicago? They had a Titanic exhibition at the Museum of Science and Industry for quite a while. Didn't go?
No. I did see the Pearl Harbor in Hawaii.
Oh.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was very, very cool.
Yeah.
But no.
I've heard it's very quiet there. Like all the tourists are just nobody talks.
Yep. Everybody knows respect.
At the Titanic exhibit in Chicago, when you go in, they hand you a name of a person and you follow that person. So each member of our family, this is cool because my kids were maybe 8 or 9 years old. Every stop along the way, they told you about this person's experience. And one of us was a crew member. One of us was an upper crust person. One of us was somebody who was down in the bottom of the ship. I don't remember what the fourth one was, but anyway, at the end, you find out if you lived or not.
Wow.
And that was pretty gut wrenching when you turn these people who's, you've heard the stories, but you haven't made them that personal.
Yeah.
And then it becomes you, your spouse, your daughter. It just
right, because they were families.
So maybe that's why I'm obsessed, Roy, with your trip to the Titanic Museum, because I won't forget mine, which was much closer in Chicago. All right, back to Roy.
My wife and I were so amazed by Northern Ireland, we decided after that trip that after my retirement from the military, which we were still undecided about when that would be, and would eventually come to fruition 9 years after our trip, we would make Northern Ireland our forever home.
Wow.
Over the subsequent 9 years, we visited Northern Ireland 7 more times to explore, do research, stay in different areas, and visited during different times of the year to make the best informed decision. In 2022, I hit my 20th year in the Air Force, which made me eligible to retire, and we kicked our planning into higher gear and refined the tasks we needed to accomplish before my retirement. In August 2022, we took what would be a life-changing trip to view houses in a couple of different areas. We saw 4 perfect houses that thankfully didn't work out. We submitted a few offers but were outbid due to the housing market being a seller's market.
Yeah,
okay. It's funny, Roy, because you're clearly going somewhere when you say he's happy it didn't work out. It's going to be wild to see where he goes with this.
Yes.
And I would love, and Sheena, you gave us this tip before. I would love to hear some of these numbers. Maybe not, Roy, like the number of the house you bought. That's fine. I mean, that's your personal stuff. But
or the other ones.
But I would love to hear, like, I expected this house to cost X and it cost Y, like it was X number of square feet and it cost, like, give us an idea of how expensive this stuff is. And Sheena, by the way, for all our other ventures, gave us this great advice. She's like, I'd love to hear some of these prices, right? So
right, yeah.
You don't have to, but when you call in, if you can include prices, that'd be great as much as possible, if you remember them. But so they're looking around for houses. By the way,
and 7 more visits. That's research.
Roy doesn't like Northern Ireland, though, Crystal. He loves Northern Ireland.
Yeah, to go there and be like, this is where I belong. But sometimes a place picks you. I think that's so true. Like, if you can't stop thinking about that place after you visit, you might belong there.
There it is. I felt that way about Vermont.
Huh.
But then Cheryl said no winter.
Okay. Interesting. I was just thinking of visiting Vermont. I was like, people love Vermont.
Oh.
People that are there really love it. That is weird.
So great.
Today of all days, too. Okay.
And Sheena and Roy and Ann really want me to go to, really are making me want to go to Ireland right now. Like, let's just go right now, Crystal.
Let's do it.
Yeah, back to Roy. So did Roy find a house? Here we go.
In October 2022, we saw a house on the internet for sale in an area that my wife liked that was about 45 minutes from Belfast. But I was unsure if it was too quiet. But after doing some research, it ticked all of our boxes and had opportunities for everyone in the family, including my 2 teenagers. We submitted an offer and it was accepted. In January 2023, we made the trip back to Northern Ireland to collect the keys and complete the sale of the house. It would be another 6 months before we made our final move from England to Northern Ireland, which was my 8th move in 21 years.
Wow.
In the last year and a half, we have loved living here and have a proper feel and understanding of Northern Ireland. For adventurers coming to Northern Ireland and the Emerald Isle, I offer the following suggestions to allow you to make the most out of your visit.
Okay, Roy, we're going to hear those in a second, but let's pause for a second. That's so badass.
That is amazing. Like, and even when he was saying, like, life-changing trips, like I don't think they went to Ireland thinking we're going to fall in love with this place and end up living here. Like, it doesn't happen. But then once you get there, get boots on the ground, something changes. When they
closed the Kalamazoo plant for General Motors, my dad, if he wanted to keep a job, had to apply at all these other plants, and he ended up finding a job in Mansfield, Ohio.
Oh.
And my sister was going into her senior year of high school, and she describes that experience as the worst year of her life because she had a lot of friends where she was and whatever. And I'm wondering the teenager's perspective.
Well, he did say it checked all the boxes and opportunities for everyone in the family.
Everyone.
So it was a team. Look, we're doing this if everybody's on board.
And it's not like they're not used to moving. I mean, when you move 8 times in 21 years. By the way, Roy, if I forget to say this later, thank you for your service. It's 20 years in the Air Force.
Thank you. Now, should we do the pit stop and then hear the rest? Or
we should. Going? Yes, absolutely. We're going to hear Roy. We do. Yes. I'm looking at the time. We definitely need to do the pit stop. What is the pit stop, Crystal?
Yeah. All right. Well, for those of you who don't know or who are new around here, let me tell you about our pit stop. So halfway through the show, we have what's called our road trip pit stop. So on a pit stop, you're always dreaming about what's at the end of the adventure. How cool would it be if we get there? Are we there yet? You can tell someone to please stop saying that because we're almost there. Or just keep saying we're almost there, no matter how far away you are. I know I was told that a lot of times. Like, oh yeah, we're almost there. You're like, yes. You're like, okay, it's been an hour. We're not there yet. But our pit stop is always a hint at our gear of the day. And you can see past gear of the day at stackingadventures.com/GOTD or gear of the day. So Joe has our gear today. So what's our hint for our gear? We have to try to guess it, you guys.
Our gear of the day, if you don't have people like Sheena and Roy and our guest Anne, who originally brought up this topic of Ireland, if you don't have them with you, this gear is my number one way to make sure if you don't know people there that you actually have a good time.
Okay. Not a pimp. Probably don't travel with your bookie either.
My bookie. Wow. Crystal.
Those are the two good time people.
You know how Crystal travels.
Just kidding. No. Let me show you a good time.
Well, you think about it. We'll get your guest after the break.
I don't know. Yep.
Yes. Hold on, everybody. We're going to get Crystal's guest here in a second. All right, Crystal, time's up. This is the number one way in my book. If you don't know anybody there, if you don't know anybody in a place, to make sure that you have a good time.
Remember those good old entertainment books? The coupon book that you buy from someone's high
go
school
bowling.
fundraiser.
It'll be buy one, get one free. We'll get some soft serve ice cream.
Oh, my goodness. Yep. Let's see. I would say it has to be some kind of an atlas.
All right.
Good old, or phone book. You probably still carry a big phone book. Do you still request the phone books?
I'm old, but I'm not that old, Crystal. There's some ageism going on in this podcast, people.
Yeah, maybe not even the local newspaper. Be like, what's there to do? I would say atlas, some kind of road map. You go to AAA and you ask for the tourist packet.
All right. You're going to find out at the end of today's show. And by the way, just this page that Crystal's building is really, it was good from the beginning, but there were only 2 or 3 things there. And now that we've been doing this for over 6 months, like
it's a lot of stuff. So get on there and scroll the whole page and just see what we say about each item.
Best in class gear. StackingAdventures.com/GOTD. All right. Back to Roy.
Yep.
And let's hear Roy's tips for our intrepid adventurers headed to Northern Ireland.
At a minimum, you need at least a week to visit the major sites.
Well, you've never met Sheena, Roy. Sheena needed 4 days, so back off, man. All right, sorry, back to Roy.
Or maybe that's how many days she'd want to travel with her mom, too.
Maybe it's that, too.
Like, me and mom, in order to get along, 4 days or less.
4 days maximum, right. All right, Roy.
A month, and could even combine it with a trip to mainland UK or Europe. Visiting in July or August will give you the best chance of having nicer weather. But it is mild all year round. It rarely gets above 80 or below freezing, and it will most likely rain. Having a rental car will give you more freedom and allow you to traverse more of the country. Driving is relatively easy over here, but beware of roundabouts and driving on the left. Ireland has a bit of everything all travelers will enjoy. From historic sites, scenic hikes, the beaches are some of the nicest in the world. If you are a golfer, you will love it here and be able to play some beautiful courses near the sea. Visit Giant's Causeway, take a black cab tour. The food here is good and comforting. Irish people are very, very friendly. Customer service is good. Visit Belfast, but don't stay in Belfast. It is easy enough to take a train or bus into Belfast to see the sights. Dublin and Belfast are only 2 hours apart, which is convenient and are both great cities with a decent amount to offer. If traveling with children, W5 is a great children's museum. For a posh spa day, you can't go wrong with Gail Gorm Spa. Get an eSIM for your phone to make traveling easier, and stay in Airbnbs instead of hotels to give yourself the local experience. It has truly been a rewarding experience and life-changing adventure living in Northern Ireland that I appreciate every day, even when it rains. A visit to the Emerald Isle will not disappoint. Happy traveling, adventurers.
Roy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Roy. That was great.
Fantastic. I love the advice to go to Belfast, but don't stay in Belfast.
There. Yeah.
And
it's good to know.
It's easy enough with a rental car, because I know when you go to a foreign country, you worry about the rental car. Can I do the rental car? Can I do the rental car? I was surprised in Germany, excuse me, how easy the rental car was. And in London, it was pretty easy too. But driving on the left side of the road to Roy,
different.
Yeah, when I got tired, Crystal, like for most of the day, it was good. But at the end of the day, when we were getting home and I'm going around that roundabout and I've got to stay on the wrong side of the road,
right?
Like it just hurt my head a little bit. But I didn't cause an accident, which was
good. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, and neighbor Doug, when he talked about going to Ireland, the golf, he did talk about the golf. That was Scotland.
Yes. Good golf, wonderful. Both places.
Well, see, look at how attention to detail I am.
Right. Oh, they're different countries. Who knew?
Darn, Scotland.
Yes.
Ireland.
We got a fantastic story from Nancy. Yay. Hey, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy from Central Florida. In mid-April of 2023, the Hubs and I went to Ireland for a week. We had an overnight flight into Dublin, and despite having little to no sleep, we took a bus over to the train station and hopped onto the train down to Limerick. Our hotel was near the train station, and by the time we walked there, we were totally exhausted with very little sleep.
So to Limerick. We haven't heard anybody going to Limerick right away. So if Nancy, if you went to Limerick, did you have to go? There once was a woman named Nancy who thought she was very fancy. You know, you had to have like a limerick. Don't we have to have a limerick? I don't know. I didn't come up with the rest of the limerick. I should have.
Okay, just stop talking.
Okay,
there we go.
Nancy, I'm sorry.
We stayed at number 1 Perry Square, and I have to tell you, the staff were very kind and attentive, and their restaurant was phenomenal. Staying here was definitely a highlight of our Ireland trip.
Fabulous. A trip to Limerick, 1 Perry Square.
Well, and then they stayed right off the train too. Like I like that too for access.
Well, and again, doing a thing like the hop on, hop off bus that we talked about with Sheena was, you know, yes, you're tired, but that's kind of a good day if you're getting away from Dublin. Like, get on the train, get all that out of the way. She's staying at a nice hotel in the middle of a cool town, and then she's able to, you know, be at the place. And the next day she wakes up and she's this beautiful place, Crystal.
Yeah. I remember when we talked to Lisa Peterson, and she said she had an app on her phone that tells her when to take naps. So she doesn't get jet lag. I forgot what it was called.
She did that. Lisa was one of the speakers in Bali last year when I was there.
Nice.
And she did that before going halfway around the world to Bali. Did the app. I found it very difficult. I'm just, yeah.
But there is an app that's allegedly helps with that. But yeah, I don't know.
Last but definitely not least, a guy who's been a stacker for a long time, and I'm glad he's on the Stacking Adventures train with us.
Yay.
Our friend from Oklahoma, John. Hey, John.
Oklahoma.
Hi, Joe. I'm answering the call about Ireland. I've been fortunate enough to go twice and have decided that the countryside of Ireland, especially one of the peninsulas on the southwest side of the country, is the place for my wife and I to retire. I'm partial to Dingle, but I would recommend anybody just drive around and check them out. It's relatively easy to get a car and drive around Ireland in general, so don't be intimidated by trying to do that.
Before he keeps going, how much does that echo Roy?
Yeah, retire. They're like, yep, gonna retire. Cool.
And also how easy it is to rent a car.
Yeah.
And Ann said that on
drive.
On our last episode. Ann said that. But that is funny. both want to. Is this just really Roy calling in again?
Well, totally different voices. Like they don't even have the same gait in talk.
Well,
I know it's a gait for walk, but their gait for talk is different.
Roy can maybe throw his. Who knows? Anyway, John going to retire to Ireland. All right, back to John.
As to some areas where you might be a little bit more hesitant to want to drive. One of the reasons that I would encourage anybody to go to Ireland is the history of Ireland covers a time span that goes back into the age of Druids. So as you drive around, you'll stop on the side of the road and see these standing stones or Stonehenge-esque type ruins that are an influence from thousands of years ago. You know, a few miles up the road, all of a sudden you find an oratory that's 1,000-year-old church that's the first part of Christianity coming into the area and the remnants of that. You drive a few more miles and then all of a sudden you're into a town and Christianity's influence is now these gigantic churches that have now built up in certain areas. In the 1500s, all of a sudden you fast forward a couple hundred years and you have these huge castles that are sitting on the side of the road. These castles that are on the side of the road, you know, they're hollowed out remains of English invasion. So you can basically just stop your car and walk right up to them and see them out. And so you really get this feel of how much history has passed by from one time to another. And then as those castles become a bygone era, you run into things like Charles Fort along the southern coast, which is kind of like an American Fort Sumter, right, where these things were built to try again to repel these invasions of foreigners as they've come into the country. So, you know, you're talking about a 35 by 12 mile peninsula, and you've covered, you know, 1,500 to 2,000 years worth of history easily, and you haven't even stopped into the towns. Once you cruise into these small towns, every small town is filled with these small pubs playing local Irish music. You get fish and chips, shepherd's pie.
Beans.
Beans.
He hasn't said beans yet. But, all right, before he goes into the pubs too much, which my sister also referenced this. Everybody's referenced the pubs, right? Sheena talked about the pubs. The restaurant Nancy talked about in Limerick sounds incredible. John now getting into the pubs, but how about all that 1,500 years of history?
I was like, you are driving through a history book. Like,
before you even get to the town.
Yeah, that's neat. That's cool.
The Stonehenge stuff. Have you ever seen any of the Stonehenge kind of things? No. Well, you've seen like
not
the
in person.
Roman ruins,
not in person, but yeah.
But Roman ruins.
When you were in
Italy.
Yeah, in Rome. I mean, in Greece. Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff was cool.
That would be Greek ruins, but yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, I know that. Not the Roman stuff in Greece. But some people did steal some of the Greek ruins. There's a place somewhere else that has some of their stuff. Like there's in one of the museums, it's like, yeah, that piece that's missing, Britain or somebody stole it.
Oh,
and they have it. Yeah. So that was cool to see.
Yeah. If you ever go into the British Museum in London, you're like, oh, here's where half the world's stuff went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But all that history
book.
And I wonder, John, I mean, if it's a little discombobulating, like I've got a castle and it's, a whole different age than these Stonehenge Druid monuments, thingies. Rocks. Those right up the road from each other, like wild. I had clients from Ireland. He was from Ireland. She was from Scotland. And I could have just listened to them talk to each other all day. I was like, just talk about anything. We won't talk about financial planning. You two just talk. Very interesting people, and both places we've already talked about on Stacking Ventures, and phenomenal. But Michael, in the southeast of Ireland, they would take a trip out in the countryside to this castle where most of it was ruins, and they'd restored one tower. And so he and his family spent almost a week in this tower. Well, and I did what, for people that not watch it on video with us, Crystal just threw her head back and like that's amazing. And so I said that, and I told Michael, I'm like, I want to go to Ireland. I want to stay at that castle.
Me too. I want to stay in a castle.
And he said one thing. He's like, it is in the middle of nowhere. He goes, I'm from Ireland, so I like that. He goes, but you might want to go see the sights. So I am a little torn. By the way, we never did that. We still haven't done it. I would love to do it. I don't even remember the name of the castle.
What's on my list as of today?
Yeah, that castle that Joe mentioned, and he can't remember the name.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Crystal.
Some rando castle. That's exactly what I wrote down. In Ireland. I wrote sleep in some rando castle in Ireland.
I don't know. I'll sleep at that hotel in Limerick that Nancy's talking about, or one of the Airbnbs that Roy talked about. All right, back to John. Let's go into the pubs with John.
Anybody should do a taste test between the different stouts that they're going to offer. So I'd still prefer Beamish over Guinness, and then Guinness over Murphy's, but you get to make your own taste tests. You get to go and try the different pubs that are there. And then everything's a pub. The hardware store was a pub. The convenience store is a pub. So it gives you this real flavor about how much there's this community involvement that kind of rotates right around this area. When we were there, we'd stayed in B&Bs, and this was probably sometimes was even before the days of Airbnb.
Okay.
Had the best cup of tea of my life in this area. The hosts were all very friendly, completely happy to tell you about the local things, and then just to enjoy your company and learn about why you're visiting them, and then how many people that they know that live in America. You know, they're so welcoming and they speak English so well. I think as a person who may have reservations about traveling, it's a great first place for people to try to venture to. You probably wouldn't in America ever stop your car and get out and walk through somebody's yard, but that's completely acceptable to take a look at somebody's castle that happens to be standing in their yard. So they're happy to have you go do it. Lastly, I would say that I'm a geologist, and this area of Ireland covers everything from glacial valleys with waterfalls down to beaches. The rock environments in this area can give you mountain peaks all the way to deep ocean sediments. So you really see, a beautiful range of not only history, but of culture. And then as the geologist in me would say, you get a lot of rock variety. If you're a fan of this sounds interesting to you, I'd encourage you to take a closer look at something like Star Wars: The Last Jedi. A lot of the scenery from that it will give you an idea as to kind of what you might be seeing when you're traveling in that area. So if I can't convince you to travel anywhere, Ireland would be the place that I might give it a second try. Good luck.
John, thank you so much. Rock on, John. That's what you say to geologists, Crystal. Rock on.
You got me there. That's speechless. Rock on.
Sorry.
That was funny. I like what he said about they enjoy your company. And I think that's why, unfortunately, I go a lot of places by myself too. I really do enjoy my own company, but it's just the vibe. It's vibe thing about, enjoying your company. And like that was like that small phrase was like a really big statement.
It's funny. I must be an alcoholic because everything is a pub resonated with me.
That was cool. Well, it's funny because I like how he talked about, you taste test the stouts, because we think Guinness is the only stout, and they're, he's like, there's ones that are way better than Guinness. So I would want to try those because we only know Guinness. Like they act like that's the only one.
I never thought about doing that on a trip, and it would be so fun. It'd be such a fun little thing to do, especially at the end of a day if you're not driving, right?
Yeah.
To taste test a few different things with either the people you're with, or if, some locals are doing it, or heck, even the bartender won't usually do it with you, but the bartender, have a discussion with them about the different drinks. I know we had some fun this holiday season on the way road tripping from Texas up to Ohio to visit family and spend the holidays with them. I realized my friend Mike had done the Bourbon Trail. I should have Mike on and we should talk about the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. But I said, hey, are there any places that are close to my route? And a little place called Jefferson makes a wonderful bourbon. I'm not really a bourbon guy, but I was traveling by myself and I'm like, okay, I'm into this more than anybody in my immediate family. Cheryl would not want to stop at a bourbon place. So I went, I did a little tasting, I still had a 4-hour drive. So it was very, very little, but I bought some. And then my brother-in-law brought out some of his and we tasted it against some of his. And it was a fun holiday evening. So John, doing that in Ireland, like doing it in Cleveland, Ohio is one thing. Doing that in Ireland where I'm taste testing the different stouts is pretty fun.
Even cooler.
I also don't want to miss his advice about this is a good spot for your first trip. And based on Anne, Sheena, Nancy, and John, I've never been to Ireland, but I would tend to agree. It sounds like, frankly, in a lot of ways, easy, you know, and I don't mean you're not going to have your challenges, but certainly that versus a place like Egypt or Jordan,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
True.
it's going to be, or even heck, Indonesia or Vietnam. This is going to be a lot more forgiving of a trip. Yeah.
Oh man, that was really, really. I'm bowled over. Speaking of bowling and entertainment books.
Well, let's get back to that because the music's coming up. So, Crystal, I said that our gear of the day today was the number one way, if you don't know people in an area, to make sure that you find good things to do. And you said an entertainment book. I cheated a little bit.
Okay.
Because I went with, on our gear of the day, let's just link to really my favorite of all the apps. I've tried Yelp. I've tried a bunch of different ones. I got to tell you, when I'm in a town that I don't know, TripAdvisor has been fantastic. Just a great place to go. And, you know, they don't sponsor our show. We have no affiliation with TripAdvisor. But I'll tell you, friends of mine have said, and I may have said this previously on the show, friends of ours that travel with us are always like, how do you always find good restaurants? I'm like, I spend just about 20 minutes, maybe 30 on TripAdvisor. You can put in all the different filters of the type of meal that you want. You read all the reviews, and some of them are hilarious, just absolutely stupid reviews. But you get a general feel for the place. And I have to tell you, after spending some time on TripAdvisor, I rarely have a bad meal when I'm on the road.
You're right. Even for accommodations, like I learned this years ago. I'm fortunate enough to have learned this years ago that TripAdvisor has like trusted, good, sound reviews and recommendations. Because like that's your first place. Like, yes, Yelp and all those others, but TripAdvisor, like they have a reputation, like amongst the travel community. Like that's also, you consider the source of the person that told me to do TripAdvisor, and that person was very well traveled. And so I was like, yeah, whatever she says, it's gold. And yeah, TripAdvisor has never steered me wrong. Well, never say never. But,
yeah, no.
Well, unless you're playing a lottery, you're never going to win the lottery.
Yeah, very infrequently. I can think of only a few times. There was a hotel that didn't have a lot of reviews. We were in an area with not a lot of reviews, and it was kind of sketchy. And there's times when TripAdvisor told me a place was going to be pretty mediocre, and it was bad. But I knew going in, it was, you know, there were very few choices, so I was choosing between bad and worse, and I had to go with bad. But I'll say this about TripAdvisor: you don't have to spend a lot of money to have some great meals or see some great stuff. And also I talked on our last episode about going to Prague and about the woman from the tour company giving us these 2 crap recommendations of tour stuff. I didn't look at the TripAdvisor reviews of those until afterwards, and that was a mistake.
There you go.
If somebody tells you to do something, I like it as a second opinion.
Well, that's a good idea too. Like when you get recommendations, see what you can find on TripAdvisor about it. That's solid.
All right, Crystal, what's your biggest takeaway from, and by the way, we will have a link to TripAdvisor. Just go to tripadvisor.com or download the link, but we're also going to put it on our gear of the day because, you know, our gear of the day list is just our most solid recommendations, and we can put this in the list of all of our solid recommendations. So, what's your biggest takeaway?
Well, my biggest takeaway is not being afraid to rent a car and just go for it in Ireland. And I want to sleep in a random castle in Ireland. So those are on my list because I've never rented a car outside of the country. I've driven one before, but I've never personally rented a car outside of the country. So that maybe I'll try that. I'll attempt that. I don't know. Driving on the wrong side, I don't know.
It's fun. It actually is really fun. Until I got tired, it was super.
Until it wasn't. What's yours? What's your biggest?
I second that emotion. You know, I love the idea of the beaches. I'm not normally a beach person, but I think Roy sold me on checking out the beaches, and I love hiking, so he had me hiking. Too. Also, you know, the advice to not stay in Belfast, but stay out in the countryside and go into Belfast, I thought was really neat because usually I like being right in the middle of the stuff, but if it's going to be better and easier to do it the opposite way, I like that advice. And Nancy, I'm also trying to finish that limerick about
stop.
There once was a woman named Nancy.
No, quit while you're behind. That's one of my.
So you've got Nancy and Fancy, but that's it.
Thanks, you guys, for hanging along. What is that? I'm giving you the
cut. That's right.
That's the hook. You get them off stage, like at the Apollo.
All right. Coming up next, lots and lots more fun. We have, by the way, wine tours coming up. Your wine tour. So please tell us about your wine tour experiences. We want to hear about those stories in the near future. We're going to go on a survey of national parks. I know we're going to take these one by one later on, but a good friend of ours, Libby Gifford, has gone to quite a few national parks. We're going to talk to her. We also previewed before Mike Rahman, our friend with a Disney travel company, going to tell us how to plan a Disney vacation. We've got those. Also, we would love, Sheena and Roy have also volunteered to talk about some of the other places. If you've got a place you'd love to talk about that's not on our list, just write us. Either Crystal at Stacking Adventures, Joe at Stacking Adventures. We'd love to hear your stories. That's what this show is all about, is what we did here today. So
us and you. You.
She is Crystal.
And I'm Joe. He's Joe.
Keep on adventuring.
Joining. Yes. Thank you for lending us your ears.